Welcome to episode 80. Probably the last normal episode for a little while because of some strange thing that happened at the very end of the episode that I was not even aware of. But we're going to go on a different kind of adventure in episode 81. Meanwhile, I'm going to be talking about avarice and fixing things up and preparing for getting scrap processing going and all the normal stuff for a little while, and then everything will change. Let's get started. Headhunter settings, NPC wanted claim notifications, wanted ship proximity notifications, player wanted ship map markers. Oh, is that how it works? It puts markers on the map? Really? Player headhunters, no faction wanted. Wait, only allow classic baddies on the wanted board. Wait. Receive notifications for NPCs claiming wanted bounties. Enables notifications when player AI ships spot a wanted ship. Show wanted tags on the map for player ships. Capturable headhunters. General bounty multiplier. Okay, so this lets you change it. All right. So supposedly it's on the map. There's one on 18 billion, but where is it? Check it out, I completely missed it. The map marker is right here. Any ship on the map with that marker has a bounty on it, and you can kill it to get the money. Headhunter wanted board. Oh, wow. Okay, so here's the wanted board. It's in the settings. Weird. Wanted faction, most wanted, by value, by distance. Oh, by latest intel. Holy cow. Okay, so there's a Xenon P that was last spotted in Holy Vision that's worth 2 million if I kill it. 2 million. It's a bounty. This is a bounty board. What if I go by distance? Okay. Wow, man. That's interesting. I'll have to learn how to use this board. Roaming fleet options. Sweep up laser towers. Removes leftover enemy laser towers after battle. All right, so I have to go to a medium docking bay. Probably head to. Oh, here's one.
Thanks for your help.
Wow, they actually thanked me for killing that pirate. I guess the Duke's Buccaneers aren't that well liked by the owning faction of the system. See how it gives me guidance to the workbench?
Make sure you install the engine mod on the ship that you intend to race with.
Yeah. So starting line is the name of the ship that I'm starting the race with, and that will have the mod. And finishing line is the name of the ship that I will finish the race with, and that will have nothing. Let's see what the mission says. I was supposed to look at that. Okay, minimum travel speed. Oh, 2,500. No, that's no problem. Engine modifications, enhanced quality, Mira travel thrust mod. Notice that I have the advanced engine fuel injector now, which is what I didn't have before. I had the exceptional one, but I'm not going to use that right now because I only have one, and I might want to use it on something else. So we'll install this one. It gives 30% to my travel speed. So it gives to travel mode, to strafe, to rotation, to start thrust, attack time, release time. With the mod installed...
Okay, good. You have a ship in which you can begin your race. All you have to do now is deploy an identical-looking ship close to the finish line. Oh, and there is no need for this second ship to be anything special. Actually, the cheaper and less well-equipped this ship is, the more humiliating the loss will be for Bradley.
Got it. It was select finish line, and then we'll right click on starting line and tell it to follow. And then we'll hop in starting line and take off.
I am not requesting permission to dock. Docking permission granted. That was foolish. I will teach you a lesson.
You know, for a Corvette, this really moves. Look at it, I'm going over 7,000. Alright, while we wait for finish line to catch up, if you remember from quite a while ago, there was a episode where I did the Avarice storyline. And in that storyline, we learned about Protection, which is the substance that stations in Avarice need to protect them from the tide. And we also learned that some slimy schmuck named Brantley North River has a monopoly on this product. So he's the only one that sells it. He sells it for stupidly high prices so that it's very difficult for any of these stations in Avarice to get ahead because, you know, all the money is going to Protection. But I've never actually seen the Protection market myself in Avarice at this phase of the game. So I really don't know how it works. But I think it would be worth looking into the Protection situation at the moment to see what it looks like and maybe see what this stuff costs and, you know, see who's buying and who's selling. So let's go into... Yeah, I've got some satellites up, but I don't know if satellites... Well, okay, that answers that question. So satellites, it seems, are immune to the tide for some reason, which makes it very handy to deploy satellites. Now, I've lost a satellite deploying ship in Avarice 5 Dead End. I remember that happening, and it was because the mod that lets you deploy satellites automatically doesn't make them flee when there's the tide. So they just die to it. But I should be able to kind of watch it and babysit it and manually tell it to flee when it gets to be time to do the tag, because it doesn't really take all that long to lay down satellites. And I really could use the satellite coverage in the Avarice sectors. At any rate, we do seem to have some satellites down here, so we should be able to get some market data. So here's the Protection. Wow. All right. We know that Protection is sold in Tidebreak. So like the best deal, if you want to sell it, the best price to sell it is here. If I zoom out, you can see that the best price that it's bought for is Tidebreak? Really? The best price that it's sold for is also Tidebreak. Oh, there's pretty much no margin. Oh, I get it. Okay, at the moment, there's no profit margin for Protection. The only place you can buy Protection is at Tidebreak, and you can buy it for $27,394. And the best price to sell it for is also in Tidebreak. But if we ignore Tidebreak for the moment, you can see that, or other places that are buying it for even less. So it's so expensive for you as the trader that it is entirely not worth trading it at this phase of the game. That will change later. But at the moment, if you want to set up a station, you have to set up a buy order for Protection, and I think somebody will come along and deliver it maybe, or maybe you have to do it yourself. I don't know. You wouldn't think anyone would be trading it since there's no profit margin at all. But I think pretty much every station will have a buy order. So like let's zoom in here. All right, this one doesn't have a buy order. That's interesting. This one does, I think. No. Well, it's very peculiar. It's like they clearly use it and they have a price for it. Like this one wants to buy 2 units? Really? Like, does it consume, how much gets consumed per tide? Is it 1 unit? Is that how it works? These are questions that I don't have answers to, which would be really nice to know. Like, this is the Riptide Rakers faction representative. They're not buying any. Hang on, let's see what their trade offers look like. Protection. 0. Buy offer 2. Okay, so they are buying it. For some reason it didn't show up on the map, so they're buying 2 for that amount. They're not buying any. Yeah, it's all very confusing. It's very, very confusing because no information is given about how all of this works. So Tidebreak is willing to sell 340 units of Protectian, but they're also willing to buy 4,660 units of Protectian. Anyway, at least now we know that you can go to Tidebreak and buy Protectian if you need it for your stations. It's just really expensive. It's 27,000 credits per unit, and you can only get a few hundred at a time. Who knows how fast it gets used up? Who knows? For now, the thing that we must do is we have to do this race. Now, when you do the race, it sets into motion a very lengthy series of mission events. If I'm remembering it correctly, you do the race and then you're on your own to try and research anomalies, I think. It's because you're trying to figure out why Brantley was able to cheat. And Bozo's theory is that he's using anomalies to kind of teleport himself to the destination quicker than you can get there. And that's not the reason. But through the process of researching anomalies, you find a special anomaly that takes you to another sector that you can't get to through jump gates. And when you get there, you find the business schmuck and you confront him and he tries to recruit you and all kinds of things happen and you end up pissing him off and he turns all of Vigor Syndicate against you. Like, I'm not kidding, the entire faction will go -30 and just want to kill you and everything that you own. So you got to be prepared for that because once that happens, you're stuck with Vigor being essentially as hostile as Xenon until you destroy this medical facility, at which point the Vigor will go back to being as friendly as they were before all that happened. And I talked about this in the previous episode because one of the missions that I took was to build a defense platform for Vigor. And it's a really nice defense platform with lots of good weapons on it. You know, it's worth like 30 million. And I built it right next to the station that you're meant to destroy. I'm thinking, wait a second now. If I give this to them, that defense platform is going to go hostile towards me when Vigor goes hostile towards me. And I don't want that happening. So I'm just going to keep the defense platform for now until we get through this whole thing. And then I'll give it to them. So once Vigor goes hostile, it'll send, 800,000 fighters at me because I don't have any capital ships. And I'm pretty sure I can handle it with like the battleships. I'll send the hounds in as well because they've got flak and all that, right? But the defense platform will probably be a good place to kind of hang out because it'll also protect against these fighters. Anyways, so once you get Vigor on your side again, supposedly you can get Protectian a lot cheaper because you know where it comes from. And that's part of the plot is you find out where it comes from, where Brantley North River has been getting it from. And so you should be able to get Protectian pretty cheap, which means that you'll be able to set up, scrap recycling in Avarice, like right here. This is where I want to put it so that you can just pop into Avarice, do your recycling, pop back out, and there you go. So that's the goal for the next few episodes. I don't know how long it'll take or how hard it will be, but because I've never actually done this part before, this mission, all I've done is the race, and I got Vigor mad at me, and I destroyed that one station, and that's as far as I went. I took it, and that's when I started playing VRO. Actually, that was about the time, I remember now, it was right after I destroyed the station and Vigor was okay with me. In fact, that video is in my channel if you want to look it up. I destroyed the station. I'm pretty sure I uploaded it. And then Kingdom End came out. So I switched to Kingdom End and I started a new save. So anyways, that's the long story of my history with Avarice. I don't want to do any of this until I'm ready. So what I think I'm going to do is switch gears at the moment. Well, I'll drop the ship off and then, well, no, I can't do that because the tide will destroy it. So I'm just going to stage right outside this gate here and leave both corvettes like right here. That way I'll be ready. And I want to get the other ships, the combat ships, ready to take out that station. And then we'll be good to go. So we'll do that next.
Peregrine, Vanguard. Ship within sensor range.
Oh dear. Wow. Brutal. Okay, that's weird. Hound 3, I was looking for a 5-star captain to be the captain of Hound 3, and there happens to be a service crew member that's a 5-star captain on Hound 3 already. So Jaren Fisty gets promoted, basically. There's Jaren Fisty. That's a 5-star captain, huh? Okay, so I should have 5-star captains in all my capital ships. Meaning all my combat capital ships. Builders and stuff don't really care. Tuta don't really care. I'm starting to get more elites that are popping up in small quantities. These Marines with elites, that's just from training over time. Check out the gauntlet doing its thing. I love it. That is pretty much the perfect design for what I need this to be. You know, Xenon come in through the gate, zoom, and then this array of death machines takes them out individually, and it's just a beautiful thing. I'm going to switch the Behemoth to having all flak like the Hounds. That way it doesn't get involved in the extra dangerous role of attacking stations and things like that. Oh wow, there's a Xenon Capital that just came through and I missed it. It's a wreck already. I was wondering what all the banging was. Holy cow, there's another U. They built that quick. I just recently destroyed the last U. Okay, well, I did make the claim that the gauntlet could handle it, but yikes. What's going to happen now? I didn't know there was a U on the other side of the Cascade Gate. That's serious. It's chock full of fighters, too. So I've got to watch this very carefully here. What's it going to do? Well, it's definitely acting as a carrier. What I'm doing here is transferring repair drones from one Hound to the other because Hound 3, for whatever reason, was taking forever for the engines to get fixed by the crew. So I'm just moving the drones over and hoping that gets it going quicker. Well, the U is just bouncing around inside Cascade. It doesn't seem to be in a hurry to jump through the gate. Don't know why. What is it waiting for?
Striking.
Or that's what it looks like when the large turrets respond. This one here is the flat.
Striking. Striking. Engaging.
These turrets over here hardly ever get a chance to fire, but they're necessary because anything that shows up outside the gauntlet is going to need to have these already trained on it pretty quick. But they will turn around eventually. It's just that most targets don't last long enough for these to turn around. But what that does mean is that once these platforms start engaging, the turrets right here will take their time, turn around, and start firing, even though these have been firing for a little bit yet, a few seconds earlier. But the gauntlet will fire immediately a little bit, and then it will just ratchet it up and start firing a whole lot more after a few seconds once these other turrets turn around. I sure wish that you would hurry up and come through already, because I don't want it to come through when I'm not ready and not watching. See, it's not even there anymore. It's moved around again. I don't even know where it is. Oh, look, it's actually jumped further away. That's frustrating. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, I need to get repair drones. Definitely need to get repair drones. Repair drones. Target amount 200. Should I go higher? Should I go 300? 250. How about that? I need to provide 250 drone components, 12,500 energy cells, and 2,500 smart chips. Yep, I can do that. The hell?
Xenon defense platform.
This is where the Barbarossa comes in handy. Let's build that here. I'm gonna need to bring just a little bit of stuff to the build storage. I am bringing the builder back to the gauntlet because I forgot to build a pier. We'll get it done. Wow, look at that.
Deimos.
Oh. Yeah, I don't want to pirate it because I'm allied to plus 22, but I don't want to. That's getting pretty close to. Oh, there's the U. The U came through, but it came through, I think, in a weird spot. Where did it come through? The U popped through outside the gauntlet. That bastard! How come it did that? How did it do that? Because the gauntlet didn't even fire on it. Well, that's shit. That's not going to work at all. Now it's just going to demolish everything, right? I think there's like one defense disc that's actually in range. It's probably going to eat my Nomad. And my Hound 3. Where's that Hound going? Attack N. You're okay. I mean, it's a bit weird. Like,
You.
the shield's down on the U. How long has it been sitting there? Has it been sitting there a while? I mean, it looks like the gauntlet's going to just kind of pick it to death with this one defense disc that happens to be in range. That's like honestly the worst place it could have materialized. Look at that, it's bullshit. I mean, it honestly looks like the U's just gonna die. Because there's enough stuff shooting at it. And it isn't really attacking very much. The engines are out. Look at that, the engines are out. But it looks very much like it's gonna kill the Hound, which I'm not happy about. Although it doesn't seem to be prioritizing it. At least this Demos down here is really laying into it. Sort of. With that, yeah, with that tri-beam. Oh, is that what it means by tri-beam? It went pew 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 3 times. So, yeah, that's what it means. Tri-beam shoots 3 times in like a succession. Well, you know, honestly, it doesn't look like the U's going to be much of trouble. Just kind of a very anticlimactic death to it. Let me check something out here. So I've actually got 2 turrets firing on the U. Alright, well they're done now. The U is dead already. Thanks to a whole bunch of things. Yeah, that's really strange. I really want to know why it jumped through so far. And now this Hound, oh man, who knows how much repair work it needs now.
Get lost.
It doesn't look any worse. Hey, the engine! All right, I can finally get this thing moving. Here goes.
Ship within.
Can I help? Sir? Sir?
That autosave that you saw at the very end there, at the time that it happened, I found it just annoying, like, oh, I'm trying to repair the Hound. I'm in my Irukandji. I'm trying to get out so I can get in the spacesuit and fix the engine and move on with things and, just keep moving, right? Keep moving. But what I didn't realize was that I would have to come back to this autosave later. And the reason for that is rather complex. There's a Yaki storyline that has been sitting on the back burner for dozens of episodes now. This Yaki storyline depends on the Yaki pirate base in Savage Spur 1, I think it is. And the Yaki, if you remember, are immune to Xenon attack. And the reason they're immune is because they have some kind of cover where the Xenon don't view them as something to attack. They just leave them alone, which is one of the things that happens when I have the Yaki cover on my little Maria, the rodent. That ship, once in a while, the cover fails. If you remember way back, there was one time that I went up to a V in the rodent and all of a sudden the cover failed and the V just blew me away, just annihilated me because I was right next to it. Well, about an hour, just a little under an hour after this autosave, I was minding my own business, doing some more things, progressing. I actually put some repair drones in the gauntlet and I had a whole bunch of other stuff going on, right? I got an email from Haley Shinneman, which is that annoying pilot that's part of the Terran Yaki plot. And he's like, oh man, base is almost gone. Gonna have to talk to you from a new location. Oh no, things are not looking good. Bye. And I thought, well, that's a strange email to have. And I looked on the map and saw that the Yaki base was shaking, which means it was taking damage. And I thought, who's attacking the Yaki base? It wouldn't be the Xenon. No one else is up there. I mean, the whole area is infested with Xenon. But they leave the Yaki alone, right? So, as it turns out, a little while later, the damn thing got destroyed. Actually destroyed. And at that point, the Yaki mission that had been on the back burner that I talked about, it was gone. It's just vanished. So a major part of the game just went away. The Yaki mission is kind of important. It gives you a bunch of rewards for doing it, for finishing it. And you have to make a decision on, which direction you're going to take it. And it also sets you up for a follow-up mission where Dal arranges a deal with the Yaki that if you manage to cleanse Savage Spur in the area of Xenon, you get a lucrative trading partner, which is something cool to look forward to in the future, but requires a lot more military than I've ever had. Anyways, I've been looking forward to doing that at some point. But with this station destroyed, it's just gone. It's not even on the menu. So I thought, well, dang, what do I do? And I had a quick save about 30 minutes before that. So I loaded up the quick save. And it was before it was destroyed, but it was still under attack. It was basically just getting under attack about the time of the quick save. And I still wasn't aware of it. Got the email again from Shinneman. And I decided to take an Asgard up to Savage Spur myself. Just fly it there and see what was going on. And there was an eye that was beating on the Yaki base. And I thought, why is it doing that? And it might have been a malfunction in something that caused it to get aggroed by them. Maybe somebody fired a shot and it hit the Xenon and the Xenon got pissed and just started shooting at the Yaki or whatever. I don't know. Whatever happened, the Xenon attacked the Yaki base. So I got there too late. By the time I got there, the base was pretty much demolished. It was on the edge of being demolished. I tried 3 times to fix it and didn't work. So I decided, well, all right, I'll go back to the previous save. This is an important mission, right? It's an important story. And the previous save is the autosave that you just saw. So that's as far back. It was just under an hour of playtime. And the only things that I really lost was I changed my ship colors to green, as you can see here in the on the image. That's a screenshot from that. And I think it looks pretty good. And I got the gauntlet built up here, and that was built, and I docked the Barbarossa in there, and I dropped off drone parts, and I got the repair drones on the gauntlet. And and I also bought 6 Gians. Those sit on the backs of the medium docking bays, right? You can put 2 on each Demos. So anyways, I bought those and I brought them up, and I was just getting ready to put them on when I got this whole crisis in my lap. Now, the next thing that I found out was that when I went to this autosave and I went to Savage Spur with the Asgard, with the Thor specifically, what I found was that everything was fine. So the Xenon had not started attacking yet. And I thought, well, this is cool. All right, well, let me just park the Asgard here and I'll bring all the others and see how that goes. But before I could do that, I spotted a whole bunch of Xenon bearing down on me. So I turned and I noticed, there's a K and there's a bunch of M's. I'll just take them out, whatever. And then the I and a bunch of other Ks started coming at me from the other direction. And I thought, well, maybe I'll do this. It's a bit harder in Savage Spur because I don't have anyone helping me. I don't have any allies that are going to fight the Xenon up there. So you have to solo everything. And then 2 more I's and about 15 K's and V's came at me. They just surrounded me. And it was like, oh crap, the Asgard is not prepared to handle that. It was really something. And didn't make it, but tried it again. And every single time that I went up there, by the time I got to the station, it was fine. But then within minutes, I was basically ganked by 3 I's and 15 K's. This was really, really difficult to figure out what to do with. But then I saw there's a superhighway that's not very far from the Yaki base, but it's one way. So when you go through the superhighway, you end up in the other Savage Spur sector, and then you can't go back to where you were. You just can't. The only way to go back is to go all the way around through Getsufuni and the Void and Second Contact and Argon Prime and Hetifus Choice and Cascade and Matrix and Savage Spur again. So that's the whole way around. It takes forever. But I thought, well, I can't actually do anything. And I didn't have any satellites with me, so I couldn't get any real good visuals. So what I did was I thought, well, I'm just going to escape, basically. I'm just going to take the Thor and just head straight for the superhighway, which I did. And I got out just fine. That was easy. But what I didn't realize is that I had already aggroed this enormous Xenon fleet, and they followed me. And they were bearing down on me, so I decided, well, I'm going to just make a break for Terran space and see what happens. And there was 2 Terran defense platforms at the gate in the Savage Spur side. And I thought, well, I'll just park between them and we'll just face the Xenon and see what happens. And they just came in and it's just a nightmare. I got to see the bounty system really, really come through. One of the V's, I think it was, got 4 million credits of bounty on it because it was demolishing the Terrans so badly. And I don't actually know what I'm going to do with this now, but I'm going to have to change gears and do an anti-Xenon cleanup campaign in Savage Spur, which is something I had not planned on doing for ages. I did not have this on my radar at all, but I have 6 battleships, and it may not even be enough, but there's a lot of unknowns coming up, and it's going to be really, really interesting to see if I can save the Yaki base and not cause a catastrophe while I'm trying to save it. I don't know how it's going to go, but all I really have to do is finish the Yaki storyline, and that's important to keep the Yaki base alive for that. I don't think it'll be that bad because, They hang out there with Xenon for a long time anyways. But whatever happened to aggro them, I just got to get the Xenon to calm down for a little while. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lure them through to the other Savage Spur sector where they can't go back, right? See, then the majority of the Xenon fleet should be on that side of the superhighway. And after that happens, I'm just going to leave them for the Terrans to deal with as I loop back around and bring all my forces back into Savage Spur again and see if maybe I can start cleaning it up. That might be kind of fun. I think it'd be worthwhile to try and see if we can exercise our military a bit. This should be fun. Anyways, I know there's a lot to take in. It's a lot of explanation, blah, blah, blah. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We'll see how it goes. It's an adventure, right? Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.